Back in Bangkok, sitting here at the Rembrandt Hotel, looking out the fucking window. Damn, it looks pretty good out here, actually.
Yeah, not a bad view.
It's so good to be back in Bangkok. It is fucking good to be back. It's like, it's not perfect, but I love it. You know what I mean? But we were just talking, me and Fox were just talking about girls when they're late. Like, what do you do? So we're just going around with questions here. Where was it?
Yes, so I was asking you, like, you said, I know you have like a hardcore 15-minute rule. Like, if the girl's late 15 minutes, at that point, phone's off, you're out of there. That's it. That's the cutoff line. Very, very few rare exceptions.
Let me clarify that you're out of here. So what that means is, obviously I can't become invisible, right? Like I can't paint myself with invisible paint, right? So, yeah. So what I do is, like, if I know she's coming up on like 13 minutes, right? And I don't tell her the rule. I don't tell her. The girls never hear the rule. It's just like, this is just my rule. Like that, I feel like 15 minutes is disrespectful. And especially, generally I would leave after 5, but 15 is like a hard and fast rule. But like I wouldn't usually wait 15. It depended on the girl. But 15 was the max. It wasn't really my rule. You got that one wrong, actually, because it just depended on the girl and the situation. But what I would do is, let's say it was like a really hot girl and she was coming really far. Okay, like she was flying to see me or driving 3 hours, 6 hours, something like that. Then what I would do when I got to 13 minutes after is I would start to look for an exit. Almost like I'm in an airplane looking for, how to get out of a fire or something in the air. I look for, where's the exit? So I kind of walk around and I see, okay, there's kind of an exit here. I can go around here and she won't see me. Because when I do leave, I don't want her to see me. I'm like a ghost. Like I'm absolutely gone. I turn off my phone and I just disappear. You know what I mean? I'm just gone. And then that way I don't have second thoughts. Because you got your own weakness, right? Like, especially if you hear her voice, you know what I mean? So if you like, saying your name or something, like you just want to be gone. So yeah, get your plan, get ready to go and go. And the reason why is just because the logistics of things, like you can have a rule, right? And then you don't think the logistics through. And so then you get caught. To me, that's the same as not having a rule. Like if you got a rule, that means you got a fucking strategy to implement that rule. Like the rule can't be this rule that just gets fucked up all the time. It's like, no, punishment comes down. Has to be clear, right? So that's what I would do. And the other thing is I would always think of, and I do this in business too, I think of, well, why is she late? You know what I mean? And I do have a doubt in my mind of maybe there's something I don't know. Because sometimes there is, right? She might get her shoe, high heels stuck in 2 curbs or something, where she can't get out. And then there's always a possibility of something like that. Something that's random, but it could happen, right? So I'm a little bit careful. But what I do generally is I think, okay, so she had traffic. Did she have any way of knowing that there might be traffic? Okay, so is this deliberate or not is what I want to find out. So if she's coming to see me in LA and she lives in LA and she says she's in traffic, that's not a good excuse. Because there's always traffic in LA.
Yeah.
And so everybody would know there's traffic. So you wouldn't go to a job interview that was 10 miles away thinking you're going to get there in 15 minutes in LA. You wouldn't do that. Because you'd be like, I don't want to be late for the interview. I might not get the job, right? And it's this is before Google, right? And you would just think, okay, I fucking better get there half an hour early, right? You would just kind of make sure you were on time, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same with a date. If she respects you, she's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that she's there. And if she doesn't, then she's disrespecting you. So if you let her disrespect you, everything falls apart. So, now here's one of the things. Is this and this is a tough one. Because for you, one piece of advice. And for the guys on the channel, another piece. Because one, we're in Asia. Okay, we're in Bangkok. fucking hot girls everywhere here, right? Not only but Thai girls, but there's like, I saw the fucking hottest white girl the other day. I totally regret not talking to her. I really do. She was so my type. I'm telling you. This is very rare for me, especially a white girl. But I just looked in her eyes. She had this look. I was like, oh, this is. And so there's hot white girls. There's hot Chinese girls visiting on vacation. There's hot Japanese girls on vacation. What else? There's hot Israeli girls who just got out of the military at 20. They're all over the place here, right? There's so many fucking hot girls around here, right? So you're a good-looking guy. You're young. You're in your fucking prime. And so I'm giving you the hardcore rules. For somebody with one girl who worked very hard to get that girl, I think I should probably do a different presentation. You need to have rules, but you also have to know what your value is. Okay, and you have to know what your options are. So you know what I mean? I'm giving you like in Asia, girls everywhere, rock star, how do you handle it, right? This is the thing. Yeah. Now, if your face catches on fire in a traumatic, accident, right? You're going to be less value, right? Or you get 20 years later, your value will go down. So you do have to adjust as you get older or as you get less attractive for whatever reason. If you lost all your money because the dollar goes down or something, or you put it in the stock market, whatever, you temper your hard-assness depending on what value you have. But if your value is high, and your value should be high, everybody on this channel should be bringing your value up and going places where you have higher value. You should always be trying to look better, get in better shape, save money, just have more confidence, learn skills, right? Improve yourself, improve your humor, right? Every time I see you, you've gotten better. You're always working on yourself. And the same with the other guys that come around a lot, right? So it's like, when I see Sean, he's always learned more Japanese. He's always learned, he's learning the characters, right? He's always like way up there. He's always moved forward, right? You know what I mean? So in that same vein, you want to have this basic, pure form of rules. And then once you understand the pure form, you will understand how to break them without breaking them, without breaking the spirit of them. You'll understand why the rules are and how they can be broken. Your wisdom will just naturally pick up. And you'll be like, okay, in this case, I understand what I should do, right? How I should, handle it. But the basic thing is that you are the train of fun. You are the train of fun. The girl rides the train of fun. And she wants to ride the train. She wants to ride the train as often as possible. And then when you invited me over here, right? So that you had to kick her out, right? That was kind of the scenario earlier, right? She wanted to stay.
Well, yeah, she wanted to spend the night with me last night. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, sure, babe. You can come down, spend the night with me, fuck her, have a great time. And then, she spent the night. And this is a girl that I've, been seeing or on and off since last year, right? So it's like a more of a good, consistent one. She's a good girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not like a first time, second date girl. It's a girl that spent.
She's like college girl.
Yeah, she's in. Yeah, good. Yeah. So
in Bangkok, college girl is higher level than a college girl in America.
Yeah,
because it's a poor country, so that means good family. It means a lot of things that it used to mean in the 70s in America.
Yeah, I think this is a quality girl.
Yeah.
So she so she wants to spend the night with me, and I'm like, that's cool, and that's great, She just wants to sleep in my arms. That's great, And then this is kind of my bad too, because I didn't really. I also invited you to stay here and crash with me and hang out, and I was really looking forward to that, and I let her know that. But she had this idea that she was gonna, she wanted to spend like the whole weekend with me. And I was like, no. But I didn't, it was kind of murky, Like I said, she could spend the night and we'd, go get coffee in the morning. But I didn't really have a clear maybe plan. And I think, and I realized that was the problem. So then I kind of was like, well, what do I do? Like she came like an hour to see me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. It doesn't matter about plans. It doesn't matter what you told her. you're a man, things change. Okay, you have your life, and you're not going to put up with any shit. So suddenly things changed, and she's got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got something going on. You know, sorry, babe. You can be nice about it. You can be totally nice. People misunderstand this part.
Yeah.
You can be nice. You can say, look, my friend is going to come over now. So like, you know, you got to go. It's been great seeing you. And a girl who loves you, likes you, is stoked on you, is going to be like, in the moment, very unhappy in her own mind, right? And so one of the key things you have to do is convey to her through your actions more than your words, is like when you say something, that's it. Okay, there's no sense of, oh, what should we do now? Like I already told you, my friend's coming over. Like he's going to be sleeping here, so you got to go. Like, you know, I'm sorry, I wish we could have done more, but, you know, I told him he's coming over. And then she'll look at you kind of like, this sounds very simple, right? But 99% of guys cannot do this. They just can't do it. They just cannot say no to a woman. So they will say, okay, well, you can stay in my room. You just stay there and I'll just talk to my friend in the living room, right? And then
Don't go out.
Yeah, don't go out. Yeah. And then so she's going to be over there listening to everything we're saying. We wouldn't be recording this now.
Yeah, it the whole fucking.
It would be a totally different thing.
Hanging out.
Yeah, we should be hanging out like all day. She might end up hanging up all day, and she might, you know, not her, but another girl might steal something from there.
Yeah.
Because girls, people will steal from your visitors' stuff rather than your stuff.
Yeah.
Because then it can be blamed on they don't live there. You know, there's a lot of things girls can cause a lot of trouble. They can cause a lot of fucking trouble for you. So you can never bend your rules. You just can't. You're just like of course I want to tell her everything. I don't want to be mean. I want to tell her, hey, my friend's coming over. But sometimes my friend just, maybe he's getting divorced and he's in a bad way and I got to talk to him, right? Then I'm going to make her go, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I also used to do, just as practice for myself. You know, a girl would come over, she'd fly up to see me for the weekend. So she was paying like, to come see me is probably, I never asked her how much tickets were, but back then, Japan Airlines, from southern Japan from Kyushu to fucking Tokyo, probably she was paying like anywhere from $600 to $800 back in the day, just to come up for the weekend, right? And you know, plus she'd bring gifts and stuff, right? And she was also very attractive, so she'd come up, and then I would say we would fuck on Friday night, hang out. Saturday, we're having a great time, breakfast, fuck again, go do something. And then I would say, look, I'm going to go to a meeting. So the reason why I would want to go to a meeting is I would start to feel like she was around too long.
Yeah.
And I just need that break.
Yeah.
I just need that break for myself to kind of like gather myself. And also I learned too that when you separate yourself from a woman while you're spending a weekend together, it will cause her to want you more.
Yeah.
And love you more. So I didn't know all this. I just did it because I started thinking I need a break. It's kind of like during Christmas time. I'll be at home, you know, with my family. And it's just too much family. It's like all the dynamics from childhood, everything. And then I just say, I gotta do something. So I would either go surfing, you know, go to the gym, go to a meeting, go hiking, or just any excuse, just go do something, right? Because that gave me like a time for myself, right? Just to take a break, reevaluate, think, right? So when a girl comes, I would always say, I'm going to a meeting, and I left girls waiting for me. I mean, they would pay a ton of money to come and see me, and I still leave them in a meeting. I was in McDonald's while they're, like, it'd be pretty long because the meeting's an hour, right? Then I had to walk there, so an hour and 20, an hour and 40, and then talk to, some guy would need help. So I'd talk, so let's say 2:10, 2.5, and then I would come back. And I remember thinking like, she'd still be sitting there waiting. And I remember thinking like, fuck, like this is amazing. I never knew this kind of world existed, because every guy that I know, almost every guy I know my whole life, they're just pushed around by women all the time. But you can be the total master of women, while you're dating them. If you marry them, that's a totally different thing. But it's the more you do this and the more you live this way, you'll see the wisdom in it. You'll understand that you need a break. And that's the most important thing. The second thing is she will miss you in that hour. She'll really miss you because she'll be thinking about you. And like no guy has ever left her somewhere while you're on a weekend together. Like leave her in McDonald's. Like no one's ever done that to her. And it's like they put you in another box. They're almost happy to do anything for you. That's what you want. That's exactly what you want. But the key thing is I can see in what you were saying that you're still weak and you're still unsure of yourself. Right? Like today you ended up spending the whole day with her.
Spent way too much time.
Without texting me and saying, hey, I'm going to be here at this time. But it wasn't out of malice. It was because this girl's hot. She's sweet.
And I honestly...
it's a good problem to have.
I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But I knew that what she wanted to do wasn't the right choice. I knew it wasn't right to just let her stay with me. And that wasn't what I was planning to do anyways. But even though this girl's super sweet and having her, here is great and all, having her in my bed is great. But I was like, no, this isn't right. And also I had told her that, originally the plan was just she was going to come over and we do whatever the fuck. But then I was like, oh, Paul, my friend's staying here, right? So then I told her that. And I was like, hey, kind of, I know you spend tonight with me, but my friends come over tomorrow. So kind of I let her know, and I explained to her and everything, this is a great friend, great guy. I'm doing, we're doing this. And
you don't even have to do that.
Okay.
You can just say, my friend's coming over. So
yeah,
we can be together until this time.
Okay. Yeah. That's better. And she accepted that. And I think I was just being, and then going to get coffee this morning, all that was good. And then I was just kind of well, all right, we'll do the next thing. And then, all right, do the next thing. And then I was like, fuck, when the fuck am I going to go hang out with the guys? And it just kept dragging on. And I just feel like I was like, all right, I'm not doing this right. Even though I did kick her out and she knew she had to go. Yeah. And when you were coming over tonight and you were kind of doing your stuff. But even then I was like, I dragged this out too long. I should have fucking got coffee with her, sent her on her way. I'm going to go hang with my friends, and I got
this
business.
Morning.
Yeah, I got things going today, and I should have told her that, but just go ahead.
Well, she came down, right, pretty far.
Yeah.
So she spent the night. That's good. Because if she comes down really far and you're only together for an hour, it's not really fair, right?
Yeah.
You want her to
but we had a
enjoy yourself, and also you want to be with her, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think morning, after say fucking at night, fucking in the morning, laughing, hugging, breakfast. After that's a good time to break.
Yeah.
It's just a good time. It's just
that's what I felt like.
You will leave her on a high. That's a good time to leave. And then just go with your friend. And then even if I wasn't available, you'll still be glad you did it. You know what I mean? Because you'll be like, yeah, that was perfect. And then she'll be like, I miss you. I wish I could have stayed tonight. And that's what you want. You want her to always to want more.
Yeah.
She always wants more. If you give her too much, then she gets bored. It's so sad. You break these rules, you lose a good girl. You're a hard ass and true to the rules. Not so much hard ass. You're true to the rules and the spirit of the rules and the understanding of why the rules were there. So I might need to think about a better way to explain it to really drive home why, or when, because I do this stuff naturally, and I think, I honestly think, I was thinking about it. If I was thinking, what skills do I have with women? What's my top skill? What's my next? Pickup is not my top skill. No way. My top skill is managing women. This. That is what I'm extraordinarily good at. Like really, like all my friends are just like, how do you do that? Like they always have the girl pushing them to do stuff. And I'm always just like, hey, and I'm always in a good mood too. Like I'm not like angry or I'm not like, don't come across. It's just that, no, it's like, I decided this, and of course, and they look at me and they're just like, whoa, this guy's like a stone. Like once he says something, like there's no ever second thoughts with this guy. And I think there's something attractive about that to girls. But I mean, to be clear, I don't care. Like, I really think it's the clearest way for me to live. Is just, why be wishy-washy? Like, I don't want to be wishy-washy about things, I just want to be, okay, I'm going to go with a friend, and then, great to see you, see you later, If she was like someone you're paying to do work, you would do that, right? But somehow with a girl, you can't yet. You just got to get it clear this is the way to be, and give her warning, let her know, you don't want to be a hard ass. But, it's like, it's hard to describe this. It's very difficult to describe this. It would be really great if I had girls with me and you could watch me do it.
Yeah.
Because it really is one of these skills where seeing it in action you'll just get it. You'll be like, we have to think of a way that you can watch this in action. Yeah. Because it frees you. It totally frees you. And it kind of forces you to be more yourself, like not let people push you around and you can change your mind. I'm not, if I suddenly realize, I think about it and I'm like, wait, it's actually better if we're together till tomorrow morning. Because I'm going to be gone for 6 months. And I think if I give her this, that'd be good. And actually, I would like to fuck her a couple more times, right? And then you really think about it. There are the rare times when I would rethink the situation and realize that was too short, Like I might not see her for 6 months. That'd be a perfect one. Is I would think, wait a second, 6 months? I got to spend 2 nights with her, right? I got it. You know what I mean? And then I might do something else,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're always letting in information and you're always feeling the information. What's the best thing to do here? You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be too cheap, right? With the girl. If that's the right word, like just cheap with your time. You want to give her proper loving, right? And proper whatever. But at the same time, it's like she means nothing in a way. Your life is everything. Your plans, your life, like on the same line, like a girl would say to me, like, oh, on Christmas, I want to go to this expensive dinner, fancy turkey, whatever. And then I would just say, yeah, I can totally see that. And I would just say, look, if you want to go, you pay. And then the girl would be done. Like, it really shocked me because it would be like an expensive dinner, right? Like 60, not that expensive, but like $60 each, right? And then I would say, and I tested it out because I thought, I don't want to pay $120 for food. Like, I just don't want to do that. Because it's not really fine dining. It's like turkey and stuff. It's not really, like my mom's turkey. My mom's a great cook.
Yeah.
So when I go to the hotel, it's never as good as my mom. It really isn't.
Yeah.
She's like way better.
Doesn't compare.
No, my mom, like, all my friends come to my house. Like, all my neighbors, like, everybody comes to get my mom's cooking, right? So it's like very rare that somebody else cooks better. It is possible. I knew a Japanese woman that cooked better than my mom, but it's very rare, right? So, and I told my mom, she was totally bummed out. But I was pretty honest with people, I was like, she's the first person I met who cooks better than you, because she really was amazing, And my mom is like really good though, And so then, what was I going to say? I was going to say something there. But
Pateo, no. You're basically talking about the making the best decision and deciding, focusing on your life and caring about like what's the best thing here. And if it's not just about following some blanket rule, it's like what's best, what's the plan, what do I want to do, and you stick to that. And you said if a girl wants to go to some fancy dinner and you're like, okay, she really wants this, okay, that's fine, I can see that, but you pay. So if you really want to go, then then you can do that, because then that takes it from you doing something that you don't want to do to just going with her and having fun, where she's getting to do what she wants to, but she's the one taking care of all the problems or paying for it, which alleviates, I don't want to fucking pay $120 for some turkey dinner. Right. But if it's like, oh, you're taking me out, it's your treat, and I can just go along and eat and bounce whenever, that's pretty cool,
Yeah, well, the thing is, I like to eat. I like to eat. I like to eat different meals, Yeah. And at Christmas dinner is going to be pretty good at a 5-star hotel, right? So it's not like painful or anything.
Yeah.
And I like to be with her, and I like to see her happy, right?
Yeah.
So she really does want to go because there are girls who just want money and they just want to order expensive food. And I'm not talking about that kind of weird girl that you don't know. I'm talking about a girl that I know that really wants to go to something. So I can appreciate her desire. Like I'm showing her that I care about her in a way. Because I'm saying, hey, I totally get it. Because my instinct, what I used to do is say, no, I don't want to go. It's a ripoff. Christmas is a ripoff. We'll do Christmas dinner on the 26th. That's what I used to do. That was my old way. I'd say, look, it's just said dinners on Christmas. It's total fucking ripoff. Let's do a good dinner on Christmas, after Christmas. And then everything is like back to normal pricing. And we can get whatever we want. It's not going to be too crowded. We'll get our table. And the girls would go along with it, right? That's what I did before. But then all of a sudden I realized, wait, girls really like the festivities of this particular... Like most guys wouldn't even know what I'm talking about because they think the girl only wants money. It's like, no, they actually want to go to Christmas dinner just to be there. They like the lights, the music.
It's the feelings.
Yeah, the feeling, the smell of the turkey, the getting dressed up, So I realized that they really liked that. So I just said, well, if you want to go, this is your thing, right? This is the way I said it. I'd be like, this is your thing. I mean, I said it in Japanese, but I'd be basically, so if you want to go, I'm happy to go. I'll be the handsome boyfriend. You pay. And then the girls, I was afraid to say it the first time. I remember, I was just like, but you pay. It's your thing, And I thought she was going to say, I was like, cheapskate. I had always like, she's going to do this. It's going to feel like this. And then she just goes like this. The second I said, but you pay, she goes, done. She's like, yay. And I was like, no way.
She just wanted you to go there with her.
Yeah, she just wanted me to go. She just wanted to go. And also, too, we had so much fun because I could see her happiness. She cared about me enough that she wanted me to go with her. She really did. If I wouldn't have put down my foot and said, I don't want to do that, pay for that, then I wouldn't have known that she cared about me enough. Not only she just wanted to go with me, that she's willing to pay. I wouldn't have known that. So a lot of guys, they don't even know how much their girls like them because they never put down their foot to find out. You know what I mean? They always do it grudgingly. Most guys, every guy, they do things, but they don't really want to do them. And so they naturally are very miserable to be with and resentful at their girls. And then the whole thing is not very much fun for anybody. And the girl really didn't care about the free dinner. She just wanted something else in her girl mind, right? Her girl mind. So I let them have the girl mind. Okay, I'll play along with that. Because I think it's kind of fun going to dinner for free with her. Yeah, give her the bone. Yeah, I'm stoked, right? Let's do it.
It changes the entire dynamic.
It totally does. And it really is true. It was like King Solomon, right? Or King Midas, whatever his name was. Like, it made sense, like, that this was her thing. Like, some things are my things, right? So I could be more willing, you know what I mean? Like if we're driving somewhere, pay for gas.
I'm kind of like
Right.
it too. Like,
Because that's my thing.
if I take you to my favorite place, I'm like, I want to. This is my thing. You know, I want to take you to. I want to go to this spot. This is my spot, and I want to show it to you. I want to share it with you. Like I'll do this with you. Then I'll pay for it. Like the haircut of a choker. Like this is my thing, and I want to show it to you.
About it.
Yeah, and I want to do this. I want you to experience this, and I'll share it
so
to
good,
you.
too.
I want to share this with you, and I really think this is good. You're gonna dig this, and I'll pay for it. And so then it's like all the reasons why it wouldn't be fun is gone, and then it's like, okay, yeah, you know. And then also I'm taking on the responsibility too. It's like if for some reason you don't like it, you don't. It's not like you don't like it and you're fucking out, you know, money. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Then it's just, insult to injury. But if it's like, oh, dude, you know, if it turns out to be not the best turkey dinner, you know, fucking whatever, you know.
Yeah,
it was free, a free dinner. It was fun. We had a good time. She's stoked. She's in love. Like, it's you know, it's all good.
And it really, the girls don't even care. Like, they don't even care about the quality of the food. Everything that we care about, women's minds are so different than ours. She wants the pageantry. She wants to go out on Christmas. She wants the little cute heart on her potatoes, mashed potatoes, you know, and and to come hand in hand, you know what I mean? Like, and sit there and pull her chair out, you know. She wants that, right? And so, their minds are different than ours. Like, I think this turkey's dry, you know, this fucking gravy sucks. It's probably some powder shit from the store, you know, cost 50 cents. You know, my mind's thinking, we're in the corner where girls' minds are different, right? They're just so different. Let them be different. Appreciate them. But don't bend your rules or your what you feel and want. So I just find a way to tell them. Like, I suddenly realized I didn't want to, I just was okay with going. I just thought paying is the thing that bothers me. Because then I get confused about why she's with me. And I don't like when feeling like a sucker.
Yeah.
Like a kind of a sucker on Christmas for dinner, right? You know, and girls, they totally don't care about any of that stuff. Like, they want a nice Christmas picture with me. Like, I remember this one girl, she took me on a cruise, right? And we were on the cruise, and we were sitting there, and she paid for everything, right? So we're on the cruise, and we went under, like, the Rainbow Bridge and everything, all the lights on and everything, you know. And she was just fucking, it was like fucking Titanic movie for her. She was so happy. You know, I was just like looking at her like, they're just so different than us. I mean, when she was sitting across the dinner, she was so happy. Fucking girls, you know. They're so different, right? I think a lot of guys don't even know girls, right? They don't even know. They let girls push them around. But they're not really pushing them around. It's actually the guy's fault for not saying what he wants or what he thinks, right? You know? Here's one. So I was just talking to a guy. He's in Unblackmailable. You know who you are. And he's in a small town in India. And so the girl nearby his house started liking him. Right, so they were kind of somewhat, you know, Indian style dating, right? Their mothers knew each other, and you know what I mean, like this kind of family thing. And then she called him every day, several times a day. And then he got angry at her and said, you know, you called too much, just putting me in a corner. And then she like didn't call him ever again, right? Stopped calling him. And then he asked me for advice. And what I said was, and I hope it worked, I said, you know, did you want to break up with her? He's like, well, she's driving me insane. And I'm like, well, if she wasn't driving you insane, would you want to break up with her? No. I said, well, what is bothering you? Well, she's calling me all the time. You know, I got to work, I got this, I got that. And I said, well, what did you say to her? He said, well, I would just take the call, but I'd be so busy that I have to talk real short. And then finally I told her, like, you're putting too much pressure on me, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then she to her, it was like a breakup, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, to her, she felt like, you don't like me.
Yeah, she's like totally stoked on the guy, and it's like, that's why she's calling him.
Well, exactly. She's stoked on the guy, and that's why she's calling all the time. And that's the way she acts in the beginning of the relationship. Girls are not always going to be the same. This is the very beginning. This is the most, frothy time, right? She's calling all the time. It means she cares about you, right? So what do? I said, look, you got to, talk to her because she's a neighbor, right? He's going to see her, right? And I said, as soon as possible, and just say, look, I think I was not very good at communicating with you the other day. Like, let me say this another way. So, we met, blah, blah, and I was very happy. And you said this made me happy. And then you came over and we had a good time, and I'm really enjoying time with you, and, just anything else that happened and he felt, just tell him the relationship, right? You're happy. Then, but you called me, you started calling me, like you called me that one time when I was working, and I didn't really know what I was feeling. So I felt like I couldn't tell you I was working, or felt like you were kind of pushing me to talk while I was working. You might not have been, but how I felt was, And so then it made me upset, because I can't get my work done, right? And then you'd call again the same day, again. And so I just felt like it was just pushing me in a corner, like I'm being hunted down, like, and like, this is not at all, I don't think, what you were doing. So basically, what I want to say is A, I enjoy being with you. I think you're lovely, but I'm not the kind of guy who calls all the time. Like, that's not my personality. So why don't we try calling every 3 days? Like, one call every 3 days. Let's try that. And let's see how that goes. And then the girl's like, a lot of times girls will surprise you. And they literally are calling you because they're excited. And then you suddenly get mad at them for being excited. And they're completely like, what in the fuck with this guy? Yeah. Right? He never said anything.
It's like being a kid again,
They just had no idea, Yeah. So the thing is, and he was listening, and my mom was listening because I was back home. This is like last week. We were doing this call. And I was doing a walk with my mom. And my mom heard this. It was the first time she's heard like an unblackmailable call, right? Mm-hmm. And then when it finished, she was like, wow. Like, I said it even better than I said it this time. And she goes, that was really great advice. She's like, no wonder people call you. Like, she was like, I'm surprised. Like, that was really great advice for the guy. And then I thought, and he wanted to talk about other things. But I'm like, one big thing at a time. Like, if you can nail this, where you're able to communicate with a woman, you did so much, right? This is a massive accomplishment. Like, this will totally change the trajectory of your future. You know what I mean? It will totally change, because once you learn how to communicate with a girl, you can communicate with a boss. You'll communicate with other people. You can public speaking. You can, like, your ability to be in touch with where you're at, interact in real time with what people are saying, is actually a pretty rare skill. It's not many people can do it. They kind of write speeches and memorize them because they can't communicate in real time. Whereas a real speaker can be talking and he's like, can just suddenly go, enough of that. He's able to lay down the law and then go back to, like I was saying. So, and you become a person who can be a leader. You can't be a leader if you're like so unable to even tell people that you're boiling angry. Like, you can't expect people to read your mind. You know what I mean? Like, guys always complain, girls say, the girl wants me to read her mind. Well, we want them to read our fucking minds about feelings, about pushing, about dates, about times. You have to say no. And then you have to think of a King, fucking Solomon solution. And that was a pretty good one. Like, let's try calling every 3 days, and then the girl will be like, you'll be surprised. They'll be like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that, sorry, and then she'll call you every 3 days. And then she'll be like, can we call every 2 days and 23 hours? And that's like a good sign. It's like she feels comfortable enough to joke around. And also, too, when you lay down the law, you're partly laying down the law for the rule. But the other part is you're seeing if she's able to respect the law. The law, in a way, doesn't matter in this case. But the respect does. So, in other words, if the girl says, oh, I didn't know, I'm sorry. And then she calls you every 3 days for like a month. You might actually want her to call you more. Because you're like, fuck, this chick's pretty cool. Like, she went along, she changed, she didn't give me a load of shit. And now, she only calls every 3 days. Which I realize is, whatever. I don't mind more, right? So you know what I mean? The rule was pretty much because you weren't sure where the line was yet. And also you knew you were unhappy. So you have to kind of set it to start things. But then later you can say, yeah, like, I trust you more. So we can talk more. You can do that too. And then if I ever feel you calling too much, or if I ever have that feeling that I'm being pushed in a corner, I'm going to tell you. Just say, she might say, well, you're confusing. You say, look, I'm a guy. Like, I'm different than you. You're a girl, I understand that. And I sometimes don't understand you. But I'm a guy, you might not understand, that's fine. But I'll just tell you. And then as long as you respect that, that's fine. You're not, I don't want you to be a guy, right? I want you to be a girl, but just understand or just respect. You don't even have to understand, just respect that it feels that way to me, And then the girl will really fucking be stoked on you because she'll be like, I'm finally understanding guys. Like he lets me know. I don't know why he's this way, but this is the way he is, right? And he lets me know what he's comfortable with. And after he does that, we get along so much better. Like, wow, this guy is amazing. So that's where you want to be, where you're that kind of guy. You can just stop it. You're not quite sure what you feel. You're not looking for exactly the Ronin rule for this. You're looking for what is it that she is, why are you unhappy? What would be a potential good rule from a lot of people, which would be like a Ronin rule. Because a lot of times there is a good rule. Like most guys, we're not that different, right? So there's a lot of good kind of A-setto, B-setto rules that you can grab. A-setto. Yeah. Like in Japan, But yeah. So yeah. But you'll get to the point where you almost don't need any rules. You can just look at her, tell her, and you're training her to understand that you are a man who can communicate what he needs without being impulsive and lacking self-control and just getting angry without being able to explain yourself, which is what most guys do, right? You're just able to say, and sometimes I'll just say like, I don't know what it is, but this is too much. You know what I mean? Like I might say something like that, like I'm not sure yet, but I'll think about it. And the girls will look at me like, okay, think about it, because they know I'm like working on it, and then I'm going to come up with a good idea. It's like, oh, okay, let's do this now. Let's, you got to get down to the granular thing. Like think about what you would be comfortable with. And this is a story I told in one Ronin video, but God knows there's so many videos, right? So I'll say it again. I don't.
Just let it
Do you know the one with the Scottish guy?
Don't recall at the moment.
Okay. So there was this friend of mine, and I should just close on this. So he was a pretty cool guy, like kind of like a manly man, you know, just like he was strong voice, you know, naturally strong guy, you know. He wasn't like super attractive, but he wasn't unattractive. And so he had all these girls in Japan, and he, for some reason, he was coming to me for advice. I guess I was trying to help him in AA or something. And so then he said, these girls are driving me insane. I'm going to break up with all my girlfriends today. And I like 8 girlfriends. I'm like, wait, you're going to break up with all your girlfriends? I know he's going to regret it. It's like so stupid. Like, if you have 8 girlfriends, that means you want girlfriends, okay? You know, like it's not by you don't wake up one day and suddenly have 8 girlfriends.
They just fall into your lap.
Yeah, just like, yeah. You know, that does not happen, right? So I said, okay. I thought about it. I wanted to give him good advice because I like the guy. I was like, what is it that's driving you insane? And he says, well, I never have any free time. I'm always with girls. They stay at my house every night. They're just, I can't get rid of them, you know. And so I said, well, you should try some kind of new tactic or whatever. And he goes, no, I'm done with all of them. They're out of here. I'm fucking gone. And I said, well, just. And this time he trusted me enough to listen because he was real impulsive. Like he did not want to listen to me. He was at this point he was done. But I said, but he was starting to trust me. So he goes, okay. He's like listening. And he wasn't exploding. And I go, what if the girls came to your door? Okay, just to your door. And there's a little genkan. It's called the genkan. The little area where you leave your shoes in Japan. It's like a meter long, but like half a meter wide, right? And what if the girls just came to the genkan and lifted up their skirts and you fucked them and then they went home? I said, would you consider that too much bother? Like, would that drive you insane? Like, would they be too sticky in that way? And he's like, no, of course not. And I said, okay. So what you got to do is you got to tell your girlfriends that, you know, they're driving you insane. It's just too much. You got a new rule, and they can come to your house, and they're not allowed to go past the genkan. So they can come into the genkan, and you can talk, you can have sex, whatever, but they can't come in your apartment. They can't cross that boundary. And he's like, well, they'll leave me. I said, well, you were going to get rid of them, all of them anyway. And he's like, well, you're right. So then he told the 8 girls that, you know, the new rule is you can only in the genkan. So I talked to him the next week. He looked happy. I said, what happened? And he goes, well, 3 of them agreed, right? So he lost 5, but he had 3 of them. And they made a game out of it, right? So they'd come over with no panties, right? Skirt. And then he was just like, yeah, he would just book them right there and then make out with them, and then they would go home. And it was like, they were happy with that. And he thought they were totally in love with him and wanted to spend time with him. Sometimes girls just kind of control you just to do it or something. Like those 3 girls were actually just happy with sex from him. And he had no idea. He thought all girls wanted to marry him, and they all want to be with him all the time. Maybe it was like their jealousy of the other girls or whatever, but they actually were totally happy. And so he was able to come up with a perfect solution. And then one girl, he told me one girl, she takes one little toe and she puts it over the genkan. She's like hanging in the air, you know. And then he's like, no. And then, you know.
That was a good one.
Yeah, she was a good one, right?
The ones who are playful with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's like one toe, you know. And then like you're starting from a totally different place, right? And you're back to a point where wherever her toe goes, you're comfortable again. And you've laid down the law.
Yeah. And he got his life back under control.
He got his life under control.
He has time to himself. And he's not... I think that's what was happening with me. Is like, you just start feeling like, oh, it's just running away. It's just like things are just starting to get out of hand. And is that even what I want? And you have no time for yourself, for your friends. It's like, no, okay, that's not it, you know. So these rules are just this way of looking at it and thinking, this mindset, not only allows you to have a really great life and allows me to kind of structure things, but ultimately the girl's going to be happier too, because not only am I going to be stoked, but it's going to be very clear it's kind of what it is, and it's not going to be this murky, wishy-washy bullshit. So, that's really good, man.
Yeah. And then next time you're unhappy, just think, maybe call me, whatever, or just think of an idea, and it'll start coming to you. You'll start to make these rules. It'll totally make sense, You'll be like, oh, I need a rule here. Some kind of rule, you can't, don't come in the bathroom when I'm in there or something, Just anything you're unhappy with, just let her know. And I think as you make these rules and she follows the rules, I've found that they don't break them. Like, I've just found they don't. Because they trust you more. They see you more as a long-term prospect or something. Because you're a more mature guy who can handle... You can handle her. I think a lot of girls, they worry that they're going to be too much for you. Like, their periods, their PMS, whatever the fuck. And you're going to be like this guy being controlled by them. And this is your way of keeping control of your life, letting them know. Because in the end of the day, they want a man who will not let them control them. And not in a bad way, but just in a sense of he's on his purpose. That's the bottom line, is you're on your purpose. And these are the things they pushed you. They were not your purpose. Having a girl call you 6 times a day and want to talk for 2 hours, there's no way that's your purpose. It's just totally not right. So it's like you get back in your purpose. That's what they want. They want a guy. They're always going to They're always going to fucking try you again, like trying to get you off your purpose. Like, that's just the way they are. They're going to be constantly seeing if you're the real deal, right? If you really master this one, you're going to have so many girls because they'll be so loyal because you'll be able to make hardcore rules for them, right? And then it's just like none of them will ever clash with each other because you always have, you know what I mean? You'll always have a rule, you know what I mean? Whatever that rule is, right? You won't have, like a lot of guys who don't act like this, they've always got these dramatic situations. Like for me with girls, I have very few dramatic situations. Like really, it's really rare. When people hear I had a lot of girls, they think I live with drama. But if they saw me, they'd just be blown away. Because I live with less drama than probably they did. Like I just had them totally under control. Like, this is the way it is. And if they broke the rules, they were out of there. So there was no drama there. It's like, she's gone. And then go get phone numbers from other girls. For me, that wasn't big drama. There was other girls, so go meet them. But I knew I needed one more girl, right? So I had another girl. Add her to the rotation, as one went out, make sure you get 1 or 2 new ones so you can, find the ones that are solid, right? And then that's it. And it becomes a very, very, very easy to maintain system. I guess my mistake was I thought my ability to manage girls meant I could manage one girl. And that's a big mistake. We're talking about managing multiple girls. Like managing one girl, like getting married or something like that, none of these rules work. Like it helps. It helps that you're a guy who can talk. But in the end, she has the upper hand. You know what I mean? Once you're married, like that. I was never married, but I mean, like, even thinking, even thinking that, or baby, like, even thinking that just one, it was possible. It's that's why you don't want one. If you have one girl, you're basically married. If you have one girlfriend. So, do you want to get married? A lot of red pill guys are married, but they don't understand it. They're married. Because they have one girlfriend.
Damn, yeah.
So they're married. The girl has total control of them. Which is,
Damn.
which is
If you got
fucked.
one girl, you're basically married.
Yeah, you're married. Yeah. If you got one girlfriend, you're married. That's it. Not even basically, you're married. Yeah. Don't have one girlfriend. I don't think it's a good idea. Because you're going to lose. You can't. Even me, it's like one girl. If I have at least two, then it's no problem. The problem with two is you lose one, you got one. So.
Like, fuck, I'm married. Damn it. I was single yesterday.
That's
right.
right.
I'm married. God dang it.
Yeah, and it might take a while to get the other one.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile.
Yeah. That's so good, dude. That's so good.
All right, good. Thanks.